Hello, this is Oshmit Banerjee, and today in this video I will be talking about cell signaling. Cell, when present in a human body, in a culture, or even in an organoid, then each and every cell cluster has to be coordinated to perform some particular function. For this coordinated function or this coordinated work, each and every cell has to interact with other cell present in the cluster. And this interaction is cell signaling. Basically, the cell signaling principally can be divided in two different types. The first one is the electrical communication, and the second one is the chemical communication. Electrical communication is basically when two cells are connected via the gap junction, and the metabolites and other different types of ions, they pass from one cell cytoplasm to another cell cytoplasm via that gap junction. This is electrical communication. And another type of cell communication is the chemical communication, where one cell secretes any one particular chemical compound that acts as the stimulus. Hormone, neurotransmitters, growth factor, each of them are different classes of such ligands. These ligands will bind to the receptor present in another cell and will carry out some particular type of behavioral or molecular change in the cell, basically in the target cell. This is the chemical communication. The cell signaling pathway has some components. The component from which the cell signaling starts is the ligand that acts as the stimulus secreted from one cell and has the ability or potential to initiate the cell signaling pathway within the same cell or in other cells. This ligand can be of different types. It could be a protein, it can be a lipid, or even a glycoprotein. Ligands bind to a particular type of protein present in the cell surface, which are the receptor proteins. Now, receptor proteins are specific for ligand binding. These proteins have specific domains which interacts with the ligand present in the extracellular space. On binding, this receptor and ligand complex induces some change in the protein architecture of the cell. Now, these changes basically the protein phosphorylation, dephosphorylation, or any other type of protein conformational change that helps in the passage of the cell signaling cascade within the cell. There are different types of intracellular signaling proteins and effector proteins that exert different type of function. For example, cytoskeletal proteins, they help in altered cell shape and movement. Transcription regulatory protein that help in altered gene expression, and metabolic enzymes that help in altered metabolism. These are different type of proteins that are assigned with different type of functions. Basically, cell signaling pathways are of four different types: contact dependent, paracrine signaling, endocrine signaling, and synaptic signaling. In contact dependent signaling, what happens? The ligand is not secreted out of the cell, rather, the ligand is expressed as one of the transmembrane proteins or transmembrane moieties onto a cell. This ligand then binds to another cell via a particular type of receptor. Now, very specific for this type of signaling, if two cells are situated distantly in an organ, they won't be reacting with them via this type of signaling, because in this signaling, the cell which exerts the signal and the cell that responds to that one particular type of signal has to come near so that the signal gets initiated. This type of signaling is dependent on the contact of two different type of cells, and hence it is known as contact dependent signaling. This contact dependent signaling is seen in different type of developmental signaling. For example, the vulva development of C. elegans, different type of specification and determination procedures, etc. In developmental biology, this contact dependent signaling is also known as juxtacrine signaling. Next type of signaling is paracrine signaling, where the cell secretes the ligand and that ligand has specific receptor in other cells which are present in the vicinity of the signaling cell. Now, the same principle is seen in case of the endocrine signaling, but the basic difference between the paracrine signaling and the endocrine signaling is the ligand travels a small distance and binds to the receptor in case of the paracrine signaling. But in endocrine signaling, what happens? The ligand, after being secreted from the cell, enters into the circulatory system and it travels to a distant part of the body and then it binds with the receptor of the target cell. Next is the synaptic transmission, where it is seen in case of the neurons specifically, where in response to some particular signal, the synaptic vesicles present on the presynaptic knob, they fuse with the plasma membrane and the neurotransmitters are released into the synaptic cleft. After releasing in the synaptic cleft, the neurotransmitter, they bind with the receptors that help in initiation of the signal in the postsynaptic cell or the postsynaptic membrane. The last but not the least is the autocrine signaling, where the signal or the ligand which is secreted from the cell binds with the receptor present in the same cell. This type of signaling is seen in case of cancer cells, where they can secrete their growth factors, which after being secreted from the cell binds with the growth factor receptor present in the same cancer cell, facilitating their growth and division. This is known as autocrine signaling.
This was just an introduction in the topic of cell signaling. Other parts are soon going to be uploaded. Subscribe to get notified. Thank you.